Hello. I thought I would introduce you to my little haunted doll collection today. I want to start off by saying that I am hugely skeptical of this market, I guess. I don't entirely believe that a spirit can be possessed into a doll or contained in a doll or trapped in a doll. I believe that some spirits tend to attach themselves to a doll or other objects. I have some other objects that I feel are more haunted than dolls. But I thought I would show you these guys. I'm going to introduce each of them. Actually, it took me about 5 years before I had this little collection because I'm such a skeptic when it comes to this. But I know for a fact that these ones have something attached to them. I'll introduce them one at a time. This one is Miss Camry. She is a 6-year-old little girl who either doesn't know how or refuses to remember how she passed away, so we really don't know how. I picked her up online from a very reputable haunted doll dealer. Actually, Charlie says go. Charlie has a doll from the same dealer. She is the only one I would ever trust. Like, she actually has her doll collection and she has them in her home for quite a while before she lets them go. This girl became very attached when I bought her 2 years ago. We still had my granddaughter living here with us, and she became very, very attached to Janie. So much so that I honestly don't think she's still with the doll. I think she's attached to Janie now. And I say that because my daughter has seen and heard evidence, I guess you could call it, to say that she's followed Janie there. What would happen first, when she first came to live in our home, my daughter was also living here with us, and she saw her several times. I haven't actually seen Camry. I've just felt her around, and I felt her energy. Like, she's a very bubbly little girl, likes to play jokes, likes to hang around. I don't know how else to explain it. She likes to follow children because, okay, there was one time Teresa said that she had walked by Janie's bedroom, like she and Janie slept together in the one bedroom that I now have as a sewing room. They slept in a double bed in that room. Excuse me. And there was one night that Teresa walked by and saw who she thought was Janie with her back towards the door, laying in bed quietly. She thought sleeping. Tongue-tied. Then she turned around, went into the bathroom, opened the door, and found Janie in there brushing her teeth. So she kind of just and they didn't tell Janie about anything. She asked Janie, like, I thought you were in bed. And then Janie says, well, no, that's Camry. And then Teresa came back out to the living room, sat down with me and said, I don't want to alarm you, but I think this haunted doll thing is real. Because at that time I had just bought 2 of them from this Angie. And I didn't know if it was real or not. I was hugely skeptical. You know, like, I just didn't think it was possible for a doll to be attached to or a spirit to be attached to a doll. So yeah, she came back out and gave us hugs and went back to bed. And I guess Teresa said she had seen 2 girls in the bed another time after that. And then just before they moved, yeah, because after they had realized they were going to move, Janie was fast asleep in bed. Teresa grabbed her laptop and she was going to crawl in with her and watch a show on TV, like she watches online TV. And she said she rolled over, she had her back to the door. And then she, just as she was about to fall asleep, she kind of, oh no, actually she said she wasn't falling asleep. She hadn't fallen asleep yet at all. She was she was watching True Blood, I think it was. Anyway. I've totally lost my train of thought. Jesus. Bird! Okay, yes. She was watching True Blood. And all of a sudden, about the level of her knee, she felt a little hand push down on it. And then she kind of just thought maybe it was the way maybe she moved or something. So, and then it happened again. And this time the covers tugged. So yeah, she freaked right out. She got out of bed and she come out into the living room with me and she says, I'm not going to bed yet. Then she told me what happened and I just kind of said, well, it's Camry. She loves Janie. You gotta admit that. So, Teresa decided she didn't want to take Camry with them when they moved, even though Janie really, really wanted to bring the doll and, of course, Camry the girl, right? The ghost girl. Sorry, I'm shaking. My arms are getting sore. Teresa didn't want to bring the doll. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to keep it here then. And, you know, I don't know whether Camry will stay here or not. But, you know, we can hope she will. Because I'm not scared of her, but Teresa was. So they moved. And probably about a month or two later, she called me up first thing in the morning after Janie went to school. And she says, Mom, this was the weirdest freaking thing I've ever encountered. And I said, what? And then she said, well, I went in this morning to tickle Janie's feet to wake her up for school because she gets up just like you, really angry and grumpy. So I was trying to gently wake her up. And all she kept whispering in her sleep was, Camry, stop it. Camry, leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. And she said, and then Teresa said she did that 3 or 4 times until she finally got freaked out and really started shaking Janie awake. And then she turned around and sat up in bed and she didn't think anything of it. And Teresa asked her, like, why did you just say that? And Janie sort of said, what? You thought I was Camry. And she goes, well, I was dreaming about Camry. So yeah, I don't know. I think she's followed her. Pretty darn sure she's followed her. God. Okay, so that's the story is about Camry. This girl. This is actually a woman of about 34, 35 years old. She came with Camry from Angie. And like I said, I was hugely skeptical until they came to my home. I realized that there is something to this. She was 34, 35 years old, and she was murdered probably, I'm going to say about 15 years ago, I think. Yeah, because it was about 13 years when I bought her, so it would be about 15 years now. Her name's Deborah. And I've tried calling her Debbie before, and it just doesn't feel like she likes that name, so I don't call her that very often. She was actually raped and murdered by a man who stopped on a road that she was jogging on and pulled her into a van and like raped, murdered her, and then dropped her off on the side of the road. She's quite forthright about that. You know, like I've meditated and she's come to me like in dreams as well. And she's perfectly fine with talking about it. It's almost like she seems stronger now because she wants to help other women who are in the problems like that, I guess, in situations where men are abusive, I guess. Because my daughter had gone through an abusive relationship and I don't know, she seemed to just get strength from from nowhere. And I have a feeling, like I feel that it was from Deborah. As far as the paranormal activity that happens around her, when I first brought her into the house, I think it was in May 2 years ago. So I was outside planting my herb garden the first time in the spring there, and I was alone at home. My husband was up. Yeah, he was up north working. He wasn't at home for a while. And my daughter and granddaughter were away for the weekend. So I was completely alone. And when I came inside, it started raining outside, so I came in, and the lights in my bathroom were on. All of the medicine chest, the doors in the, what do you call that, like the cabinet above the toilet, those were open. The vanity doors were open. Excuse me. Yeah, and I know for a fact I hadn't left anything open. And I'm crazy anal about electricity. Like, I make sure every light is off. If I don't need a light, I do not use a light. I make sure the heat's down, everything like that. Oh, that was another thing that happened with her that day. Was yeah, she was really getting used to us that day, I guess. She turned the thermostat up to 25. The thermostat was at 25 and I was alone at home. Anyone that knows me knows that I love cold. Like, my house is 16 degrees Celsius at all times, winter or summer. So yeah, when I came in that day to find the thermostat up to 25, I knew it had to be one of these two. I'm pretty sure, well, I found out later that it was Deborah. She just wanted to let me know that it was real. Yeah. What else has she done? Oh, I used to keep her on the fireplace, and then I was looking for new places for them. So I had Camry up on a shelf when I first had her, and I decided to put Deborah into, like, behind the glass in that china cabinet. And I left her in there for 3 nights, and I don't know if you can tell that chair with the brown quilt over it. I would sit there, and 3 nights in a row, there was loud, like really loud knocking behind the china cabinet. It would happen 3 times each night until I realized, oh, I'll bet you it's Deborah. Yeah, I know, it took me a long time to figure that one out. So I pulled her out from there and put her back with Camry on the shelf, and she was happy. I don't know, I feel safe in the house with Deborah around. I'm not sure why. I don't know. She likes my husband. She's told me this in a dream. I find that he is very, he's the type of man that would never ever come out and say, I'm sorry, or he's just that type of guy. He wouldn't say something like that. He wouldn't admit that he's wrong. But I find that since Deborah's been here, he's really softened up, like his personality. I don't even, actually, just as I'm talking about this, I'm realizing this. It's just been the last 2 years, yeah. He's even come out and said, I'm sorry when he did something that pissed me off or upset me. And that's something that I just wasn't used to. I thought it was just because Janie was around, but yeah, Janie's been around for 6 years, so it's been a little longer than the last 2 years. So maybe it is Deborah. Okay, now this, excuse me, this lady I picked up at a garage sale last year. I don't know how old she is. It was an older lady, probably about mid-60s, early 70s, who was selling her. Like, she was selling off her collectibles. And she said that this doll was owned by her mother. So I honestly don't know how old she is. I know she was fairly dusty and dirty when I got her. I had to clean her. Now, the weirdest thing that I find about this girl is that my granddaughter, 6-year-old granddaughter, packs her around. As soon as she walks into the door, she doesn't say hi to me. She says, "Where's my doll? Where's my doll?" And at first I think, "Oh, are you talking about Camry?" And she says, no, that new doll that we got last year. And I said, "Oh, Mabel?" Oh, by the way, like I don't know specifically what her name is, but I get a feeling that it starts with M-A. And for me, Mabel just seems to fit. And Janie's been calling her Mabel all along too. And you know, out of all the dolls that a 6-year-old could play with, you know, she packs this girl around everywhere. She puts her in her little doll stroller and her little car seats and stuff like that. She brings her in the truck everywhere when she's here. It's this antique doll that she packs around. And I don't know about you, but when I was that age, I remember going into my grandma's house and seeing all these old dolls and being creeped out by it. You know what I mean? So I don't understand where this fascination that she has with this doll is. I'm guessing she just really likes her. She's got a connection with her. As far as paranormal things go, I don't know if I really have any stories. So I haven't really been paying attention. I just keep thinking it's Camry or Deborah, although Camry's probably gone over with Teresa and Janie now. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that... I know she seems to like a specific spot. Yeah, I can't think of anything other than the weird attachment Janie has to her. I don't know. This is not a haunted doll. This is a doll that I bought from a dealer. Excuse me. In the city. She is roughly from 1890 to 1910, somewhere in there. I am trying my hand at restoring her. So I have to figure out how to put in eyes and find a human hair wig. She came with an actual human hair wig, but the original human hair wig too. Like, it was a phenomenal find, because it's very rare that the wigs actually survive this long. It's been over 100 years, and it's rare that they survive. But yeah, it didn't survive because I left the damn door open to my computer room and the cat got in there and thought it was fun to play with. So yeah, she destroyed it. I was not a happy girl. She came with the original kid body, is what they call that. It's kind of made out of I don't even know, it almost seems like a burlap sack kind of thing, and it's leather. It's like a kid leather body. And I bought antique clothes to go with her once I figure out how to put her together. And my last girl is this one. I call her Z. I picked her up at an estate sale in town here. And I call her Z because she reminds me of the original owner that had her. I'm going to turn this back up a little bit so you can see her. She's beautiful. She is a flapper. The woman that actually owned her originally lived in the nursing home that I worked at. I didn't know the woman very well, but this doll gives me a feeling kind of like prissy, you know, like she needs to be out, she needs to be shown off. Like, you can't just hide her away in a room somewhere, because you can't walk by the door of the room without feeling like she's calling you, like, come and get me. I don't need to be here hidden away. I need to be out. I haven't had her for very long. That's why other than that, like, I just got her this year, probably about a month ago. Yeah, nothing has really happened other than that. So I don't even know if she's paranormally charged or not. I believe she is because I feel like she is, but she might just have a bit of Z's personality still in her. And she was quite a flamboyant lady too. Very creative, very flamboyant, but I didn't know her personally enough to sit and talk to her for very long. But now I feel like I have a piece of her in my home. So I don't know. We'll have to get to know her a little bit longer. So there you have it. Those are my haunted dolls. And like I said, I'm very, very, very skeptical when it comes to haunted dolls. But this Angie, she really is a good dealer. She knows her stuff. Because I honestly thought it wasn't real. I just figured I was buying antique dolls anyway. They were worth the price of the doll itself. You know, like the Camry is actually quite an expensive China doll. So the price I paid for her wasn't in vain kind of thing, you know what I mean? And Deborah, like the doll, is actually an antique doll from the 60s. I can't remember exactly what the original name of her is. I'd have to look it up. I'm sorry, I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like the price I paid for them, I wasn't feeling like I was getting ripped off even if they didn't have spirits attached. So yeah, if I can find Angie's online website, I will put a post in the video, like I'll put a link in the post so that you can find her. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.